Christopher Bell wins Sunday for his third straight win in the NASCAR Cup Series. The first driver to do it in this next-gen car. He probably had the best car all day. The option tires kind of let a lot of people, intrigued on how it was going to finish. You had Ryan Preece, Bernasette early, come up through the field. Then Bernasette a little later on, come up through the field, took the lead and was leading with like 50 to go. You had Logano get a penalty on a restart, which I think was the right call. It was very nitpicky, but I'd rather NASCAR be nitpicky about those things and way inconsistent and just keep
letting some people get away with it and others not.
And just if NASCAR's going to keep it like that, I'm fine. Just keep on officiating it like that at Phoenix from here to the end of time. Bless you.
Excuse me.
I think it might be the first sneeze we've had on this podcast in a long time.
Ugh, sorry. I've been a little
and you've only been on
today.
here for 5 minutes.
Well, I've been a little sniffly today, and it's your fault because you were sniffly. Stuffy, sniffly, itchy.
I smell a little sniffly today.
Scratchy throat. Because you were like that. You passed your cooties to me.
I got something you can scratch. But, yeah, he had to burn a set, and he had a fast car. And, yeah, the option tires just kind of made it interesting because I think if we don't have that, we might have the Bell Invitational. Blaney had a fast car till he blew a motor, and I don't mean having too much fun on a Saturday night blowing a motor. I mean he actually blew a motor, which is disappointing to see. I thought Tyler Reddick was pretty fast all day. He had power steering problems late in the race. What? Power steering. Said it all redneck. That's what you're laughing about.
Power steering.
Power. He needed more oil in a power steering unit. Damn it. Raise hell, praise Dale. But, yeah, so a lot of the good guys, contenders, like I said, Logano got a penalty and kind of had to burn a set of option tires, which were incredibly faster for most of a run. And you only got 2 sets. So if you burned a set early, you were kind of putting a disadvantage late in the race. Just kind of all Bell's contenders, the guys that could have contended against Bell, just kind of had problems or took themselves out or, stuff like that. But it still had a great finish. I thought him and Denny on the last restart was good. I was kind of surprised Kyle Larson didn't throw it 3 wide down there in the 3, coming to the white. He had a huge run on both of them, but he decided to try to push Denny. I get it. Trying to throw it 3 wide on the inside at Phoenix typically doesn't end too well. But it's Kyle Larson. You've seen him make crazier moves before, so I was a little surprised by that. But I thought Bell just kind of ran Denny up high. I mean, Denny's done that to multiple people in the past in this car. So no harm, no foul. Denny didn't hit the wall. I thought it was a clean finish. It was a pretty good finish, actually. And I was cheering for Denny Hamlin. I'm down bad when I'm cheering for Denny Hamlin. So that was disappointing to see. But it's impressive, man. Christopher Bell, the first person to go 3 straight wins in this next-gen car, how close the field is now. At 3 different tracks, too. Atlanta, kind of lucky, but he put himself in position at the end. Give him credit. Only led the last lap. Was able to hold on to half a car length between Hocevar and Larson before they threw the caution. When the week prior they didn't. Same type of wreck, too. But we're not getting into that. Then, last weekend at Coda, goes out there and wins the race on a road course and had a very good car. Had a good car at the end of the race. Passed Kyle Busch cleanly and was able to hold off William Byron. So, kudos to that. And then this week, Phoenix didn't have the best car early on. I didn't think had a top 5, top 3 car. But then you just slowly but steadily, yet again, he just showed that he was the better car. No matter what tires you had on that 20 car, he was always in the top 3 to top 5. So, and you keep putting yourself in positions to win. You're going to keep winning. You're going to win races, and you're going to win them in a bunch. And Christopher Bell, this is his first big run in the Cup Series, and I think he's got more wins to come this year for 2025. He's not done by any stretch of the imagination. 3 out of 4 is pretty damn good. That's a 750 batting average. He'd be in the Hall of Fame. With flying, he'd be the greatest baseball player of all time, and he's on that roll right now. He will slow down. I think he won't win 10 races this year, but he's on a hell of a roll to do so. I know you were kind of asleep for most of the race, but what did you think of the race there, Riley Jr.?
Well, most of it was watching the back of my eyeballs. I mean, my eyelids.
Eyeballs?
My
Are you
eyelids.
doing The Undertaker?
my eyelids. I was very worn down and sleepy. Brought us lunch home when I got off work. Got a full belly. Got nice and cozy with a warm blanket straight from the dryer. And then night I went. And then I woke up. The race was on. And then I was like, eh. So I went and changed clothes, came back.
Yeah, it is Phoenix.
And then tried to stay awake. Just couldn't. Woke up when homegirl wrecked the second time.
Catherine Legg.
Yeah. And she wrecked the second time. Fell back asleep.
Poor Daniel Suarez.
And then my phone started going off, and it was our group chat. And my dad was like, damn it. And then he texted me separately and was like, damn it. And then I was like, what? And then I look up, and Blaney's on fire. And so then I was like,
he wasn't
damn
on
it.
fire. He was smoking.
There were a few flames
And I ain't talking
under
about
his car.
some Marlboros.
Anyway, so then I was like, all right, at this point, I might as well just forget it. So then next thing I know, I wake up and it's like 3 to
How
go.
many times you wake up?
I was in and out for like
Clearly.
the whole duration of the race. To like the last few laps. But I was
Did you see something? Do you see anything wrong with the finish? Did you enjoy the finish?
rooting for Hamlin. I did see that.
You did see that?
I did see that.
How do you see you saw yourself rooting for Denny Hamlin? I'm confused.
No. Like I was awake for the final few laps. Like I was
You saw yourself cheering for Denny Hamlin.
No. What?
I see that. What the hell does
Jeez.
that mean? You're not making any sense. Yes, I agree with you, honey. I was rooting for Denny Hamlin as well. That's how you put that.
Well, you asked me what did I think or did I
you
see
like
anything?
the finish is what that meant. Yeah.
Yes, and I was going to say yes, I was rooting for Denny Hamlin because I was awake.
Do you think Christopher did anything dirty?
Listen, it's a little blurry in my memory on
boy.
what happened. I just thought it
Most
was going to
things
be
that
another
are on the border of dirty, it's blurry in her memory as well.
That's an insult to you.
Huh?
I said that's an insult to you.
Not really.
Anyway,
Can you stop hitting your chin on the mic?
no. I thought it was going to be like another Atlanta last year finish, the 3 all neck and neck.
Oh, 3 wide of the finish?
Yeah.
Nah, it ain't gonna happen to Phoenix. I mean, it could one day. But
It
I
looked
doubt
like it. Maybe it was just my sleepy haze.
If Larson would have thrown it in there 3 wide, coming to 1 to go, maybe, but I doubt it. Larson would have got loose, probably wrecked Bell. Bell would have wrecked Denny. And I would have loved that, because guess who would have won the race? Josh Berry. That'd been cool. Cool story. Wood Brothers. Great day for Wood Brothers. We'll get to him later. Might be in one of the segments mentioned later on the show. But yeah, I'm glad Phoenix is over with. It. The race itself was decent. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. You know, other than the 500 this year, I think all the races this year have been better than expected. Maybe other than Atlanta. I expected a lot from Atlanta, and it was a pretty damn good race. But Coda was better than I expected, and now this race at Phoenix was better than I expected. Option tires definitely helped out, I think, the strategy, and just kind of kept you wondering, you know, who's going to fly up through the field on reds, who's going to take reds, who's going to take the yellows and try to hold off again and try to get the cautions right. If we get cautions towards the end of the race, you've got a set of reds left on, you know, come from 15th to try to win the race, which didn't happen, but that was a possibility on the table for much of that race. So it was better than most Phoenix races I'll get, especially in this car. So improvement, but we got a long way to go. With this car at short tracks and Phoenix in general. Phoenix is just a rough watch sometimes. It wasn't a rough watch, but you know, just there's points and lulls in it that you're just like, man, I'd rather be watching damn paint dry right now. But not really. But it has that tendency to get to that midway through a race at Phoenix. But overall, I'd give it a 6 out of 10, 6.5. The option tires definitely helped.
cool. I would rate it, but again,
You rated rolling eyes
I
back.
was a sleepy girl.
Yeah. Well, what's next on the docket? The docket. The option tires, right?
Yeah, option tires.
So NASCAR but gave out their 2025 option tires. You had 2 sets for Sunday, 6 sets of primaries, yellow tires. The red tires were meant to be, grippier, softer, but they would wear out quicker. And you definitely would see a difference. I mean, like you said, you saw Ryan Preece come from the back to the front twice in that race. One time finished third in the stage, and second time take the lead and had a pretty good lead over the winning car, Christopher Bell, until I think that was it the Catherine Legg caution, or maybe it was the Bubba Wall. I can't remember which caution it was until that caution happened first, with like 50 to go. So it definitely helped. The problem is, though, the red tires, they didn't wear out quick enough. But I think it was Goodyear's first little test of just trying to be a little more aggressive, but didn't want to go overboard, especially with this being the championship race in the fall. They didn't want to go too aggressive to where it would scare NASCAR and have fans in an uproar over Goodyear if we have like 7 or 8 blowouts on a 40-lap run or something. So I get why Goodyear was a little more conservative with this tire and didn't want it to go overboard and have a lot of grip but wear out quick. And the teams, they push it to the max. I mean, we saw it at Texas 3 years ago where teams were blowing tires every 30 laps. They don't want that again. So, especially at Phoenix, when this is your one and only chance to kind of test a softer tire at a track that's going to determine a champion later in the season. So I get why Goodyear did that. However, I would like for them to go softer and more aggressive and have it the only tire in the fall. I think reds started falling off over the yellows 50, 60, 70 sometimes laps into a run, and that's just too long, especially with stages now where you're getting scheduled stage breaks. When the cautions are going to come out at least twice in a race, which hurts the strategy in itself. You need those reds to burn out quicker. That way, you can put them on and you'll be really, really fast for 30, 40 laps. But if it keeps going, you're going to pay the price. And, we just didn't quite see that enough on Sunday. Like Joey, I think he ran the longest. I think he ran like 80-something laps. He started falling back eventually towards the end of the second stage, I believe. But he still finished I think he finished second or third in the stage. So it wasn't like a huge drop off. So I like the option tires. Am I a fan of it to have 2 different tire sets? Not necessarily, for a couple tracks like Phoenix would work, but I wouldn't want to see this at Bristol, Martinsville, at tracks that, at least in the future, that once we figure out a softer tire, we should just run the softer tire by itself. But because I just feel like the strategy would get pretty redundant really quick. I feel like everybody would have that same strategy almost every time. There'd be some outlier guys like we had on Sunday, like a Priest, like a Logano, like a Daniel Suarez, like Austin Cindric, but you're not going to have that every race with these option tires, especially if it's according to how the cautions fall. You only have like 1 or 2 cautions all day. You're not going to have hardly any different strategies. People are going to put the tires on at the end of stage 2 and the last run of green flag pit stops before stage 3. That's how it's going to be about every damn time if you don't have a lot of cautions in between those times. So I like the idea, but ultimately I think we need to just stick with one tire option, get it to a softer tire that has more grip, that is faster, but wears out quicker. That way the strategy beyond the teams can change, but it doesn't change just because, we got to put reds on over yellows. It'll just be, when should we take tires, and how we got to set up our car according to the tires and how long they last, because everybody has the same type of tires instead of having the different type of tires, if that makes sense. So overall, I like the option tires, but I would like to see them go softer. You can try for a few more races, but eventually find the formula. Find the perfect soft tire to where it won't blow tires out, but has good wear and tear, safe wear and tear for the cars and the drivers where they're not blowing tires, and then go from there and just kind of keep it as your normal tire at every other racetrack.